Alright, I'm going to show you how to make a Roblox data store in under 5 minutes. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure that under Game Settings and under the Security tab, you want to make sure you have Enable Studio Access to API Services enabled. Otherwise, it will not work. Next, you're going to want to make a server script under Server Script Service, and you're going to want to make a variable requesting the data store service using game get service data store service. Now let's create an actual data store. We're gonna name this as data store. You can name the variable whatever you want. Reference the data store service again, and we're gonna use get data store and name it whatever you want. I'm gonna name mine. Next, we're gonna make 3 different events. One's for when the player joins, using game.players.player added. Then we're gonna add a second one where the player leaves, using player remove. Then we're gonna add a third one that accounts for when the server ever crashes or if the player crashes, but mainly for when the server crashes, right? And that's game bind to close function. Okay, so when the player joins, we're gonna want to load anything that the game's gonna use. In my case, I'm gonna be using a leader stat leaderboard, and we're also gonna load data. And if it doesn't have data, we're gonna set it to the default value of 0. So first, let's make leader stats. All right, now let's make the coins value, which is what I'm gonna be wanting to save today. All right, now that that's done, let's give it a value. Now let's actually save the data. So how do we do this? First, we're gonna make a new variable for the data. And we're gonna reference our data store again, using my variable data store thing. And we're gonna say get async. You can think of this as getting data. And we're going to reference our player's user ID. And that is because every player has a unique user ID, so it'll be much easier to load and find data that way. Now let's figure out what happens if they don't have data. So if there is no data, then we're going to set the coins value to 0, or any default value of choosing. Now, what happens if they do have data? What then? Then we're going to want to set the value. We're going to set it to data. All right, and we're going to just do return the data value. Awesome, you just loaded data. Now, how do we save data? So we're going to reference our data store thing under the player removing event. We're going to use set async. You can think of this as saving data. Again, we're going to save our player's user ID. And basically, anything you ever want to save, you can put it in these parentheses. Just make sure you separate them with commas. In my case, I want to save my coins leader stat. Stat. And remember, leader stats is part of the parent, or to the player, sorry. So I'm going to wait for player leader stats. And then I'm going to wait for coins, make sure they're all loaded, and the value. Awesome. Now when the server crashes, or by chance it does, we're going to want to save it for all players. So in which case I'll use a for loop to filter through all the players using game.players get players. And then we're going to basically just copy this here and replace player with v. And that's it. That's how you load data, save data, and account for server crashes. And that's your data store in under 5 minutes. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button if I helped you out.